Thank you. So I'll start with, good afternoon everyone, my name is Kaitlin Murray and in September of last year I graduated from Harper Adams University with a degree in veterinary nursing with small animal rehabilitation. During my final year at university I completed a research project that aimed to identify levels of support available in higher education and also highlight potential areas for improvement. With this being said, we're all here today because we are aware of that poor mental health is prevalent within the veterinary profession. However, the importance of registered veterinary nurses' mental health is often overlooked. Veterinary nursing is an ever-evolving profession with recent advances aimed at making the profession regulated by the law and therefore increasing recognition. With recognition comes an additional awareness of accountability on a personal and professional level, and this could introduce additional emotional challenges, which to me signifies the need to provide appropriate mental health support to student veterinary nurses to allow them to adapt emotionally to the challenges they face as RVNs. In recent years, the number of RVNs in the United Kingdom has continued to rise year on year. Despite the increasing numbers of RVNs each year, there are concerns over long-term retention and the demand being ever increasing. A survey conducted by the Institute for Employment Studies in 2019 for the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons found that mental health issues are one of the many reasons why nurses choose to leave the profession, having 15% of respondents giving mental health as their reason for leaving, along with chronic stress and feeling undervalued. This demonstrates that although the number of RVNs is increasing each year, failure to support and promote positive mental health within the profession is contributing to poor retention and therefore loss of RVNs. Although veterinary nursing is becoming a popular career, the concerns with retention are persistent, so protecting the mental health of and well-being of SVNs enrolled in higher education is essential for their futures within the profession. The lack of current research into the topic of mental health within the RVN profession signified to me that there was a requirement for further exploration, which is why I decided to complete this important piece of research with the aim of promoting positive change for the future of RVNs. Globally, mental health is becoming more of a concern, whether that be due to better awareness of the clinical signs or an actual increase in cases. Students enrolled in higher education are of particular concern, with university services reporting increased referrals in recent years. According to the World Health Organization, mental health disorders contribute to half of the disease strain of adolescents in the UK. Studies have shown that in order to improve the mental health of students, there needs to be better communication between universities and external health services, better awareness of existing support services both internally and externally, and the introduction of better policies and trained personnel that can guide existing staff members. As students are at risk of exposure to mental ill health, it is important that these factors are considered when challenging the way that student professionals receive appropriate mental health support. In human nursing, there have been recommendations to incorporate resilience training in education to better prepare students for the challenges they may face in their nursing careers. One study highlighted that health professionals who are potentially exposed to high levels of trauma possess characteristics that enable post-traumatic growth. Resilience is considered a necessary attribute for success within the nursing profession and can be developed by sharing experiences with others and being aware of personal risk. Recommendations have been made to improve resilience in the profession through their education. These included the integration of resilience discussions within undergraduate training to strengthen adaptability and coping skills, providing exposure to positive role models to enable the development of worker-friendly policies and the reflection of errors, and finally, ensuring cultural generativity is at the forefront of clinical educators' ethos to ensure the promotion of well-being for future generations. This behind me just shows that in human nursing, resilience training has been proven to improve general health questionnaire scores across the board. In the UK, suicide rates are 3 times higher in the veterinary profession compared to the general population. The reason for this is considered to be multifactorial, but majorly includes long working hours, high workloads, and poor work-life balance. One study found that common preventative factors for these issues included better support services, formal support for new graduates, and improving work-life balance attitudes. It was also found that support services available to students and graduates could be refined to provide regular emotional support during education and throughout the first year of employment, to encourage suicide prevention and dismantle the stigma associated with mental ill health. Veterinary nursing is an occupation at high risk of occupational stress. On average, the level of occupational stress within the veterinary nursing exceeds that of a normative sample within human healthcare professionals, which could be a contributing factor to poor mental health amongst them. Studies have shown the need for greater emphasis on the awareness of self-care and occupational stress during undergraduate education to promote appropriate actions for safeguarding personal psychological well-being through veterinary nurses' careers. In 2017, Lynette Benema completed a social media outreach to student veterinary nurses and registered veterinary nurses across the country. She asked simply, how many of you have a mental health diagnosis and what do you do to cope? She had many responses, and it was found that most nurses suffer in silence, and there were many versions of coping mechanisms mentioned, such as creating achievable goals and getting the work-life balance right again. This highlighted that veterinary nurses largely struggle to speak up about their experiences to get help, which again indicates the importance of initiating mechanisms of support early on in our careers. Another question raised in this outreach was, is it the job that makes us this way, or is it because we are this way that we pursued this job? The role of a veterinary nurse requires you to have a natural empathetic desire to care for animals, and having these characteristics could increase the risk of experiencing mental ill health when placed in a psychologically demanding environment. So, are veterinary nurses predisposed to deficient mental well-being due to their established nature? I guess we'll never know. In 2021, Vets for Pets and Companion Care Vets conducted a report titled Project Listen. This sought to initiate a profession-wide discussion on well-being, work-life balance and benefits with the aim of creating a better working environment for all veterinary team members. Within this report, only 22% of RVNs were satisfied that their health and well-being was excellent. Reasons for poor health and well-being included increasing client demands, pay not matching internal and external stresses of the role. Knowing and understanding these reasons for poor mental well-being should help encourage the implementation of change within the profession and drive the industry into a better state of positive mental health and well-being. Many existing initiatives aim to support mental health and well-being in the industry, including the Mind Matters initiative. Other recognised representative bodies, including the BVNA, BSAVA and the BVA, work to try and improve the well-being of professionals through awareness days, mental health-specific CPD, to encourage individuals to be proactive in creating a positive outlook for themselves and their teams. However, there does still seem to be a lack of research into RVN-specific mental health and well-being that can be used within these initiatives to provide evidence-based support, which is essential to change the stigma and create an optimistic future for students seeking a role in the industry. My research was made up of both questionnaires and interviews with RVNs who had graduated in the last 6 years with a degree in veterinary nursing. Questionnaire data showed that 85% of participants have been subjected to fluctuations in their mental health, with more participants experiencing this before graduating. This was also seen in the majority of interview participants, with 6 out of 7 of the interview participants experiencing a negative mental well-being at some point in their careers. It was shown that more RVNs have experienced mental health fluctuations in the years between 2018 to 2022 compared to previous years. All 7 participants identified a lack of coping strategies provided at university somewhat contributed to the outcome of their mental health. Each year, more participants reported having not received sufficient coping strategies than those that did, and participants were asked if they felt their university prepared them for the challenges of the profession, and 46% of participants who reported having experienced fluctuations in their mental health also felt that their university did not appropriately prepare them for the role, and that's just shown in this here. Finally, participants were asked what would have been their preferred source of mental health support in higher education, and it was found that 68% of participants would have preferred the provision of integrated learning support within the academic content, and this was again reiterated in the interviews with all 7 participants suggesting the same thing. Other options given were regular one-to-one counselling sessions, specifically targeted at students, support groups with fellow student nurses, and online support, for example, chat forums and website links. So current literature highlighted a significant lack of research into the mental health of RVNs in the UK, suggesting an absence of evidence-based mental health support within the profession, as mentioned earlier. My research found common themes across the questionnaires and the interviews that indicated there is a lack of mental health support in higher education. So this suggests that further research is warranted to establish preventative methods for the development of poor mental well-being and to discover the best methods of supporting RVN's mental health in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for Kaitlin? Stunned the world. Oh, that's what I mean.
Thank you for an excellent talk. I just wanted to pick up on one of your comments about, is it the personality or is it the job?
Yeah.
And I think from the human health sector, there has been quite a lot of research on personality traits or, personality traits that health personnel have. And I think veterinarians and vet nurses also are usually highly motivated, highly skilled people, and we want them to be empathetic and to be understanding and to be thorough. So I just think we need to try and address more of the, how can we build organizations that actually nurtures and makes these people thrive, because we want those kinds of people in our profession. We just need to build a system to want them to be there as well.
Yeah, definitely, I totally agree. And that usually starts within education, which is what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Hi, thanks. It's just a super quick question,
Yep.
And I apologise if I missed this, because that's quite possible. How many participants did you have in the study?
So I had 41 questionnaire participants and 7 interview participants, which wasn't as many people as I'd have liked, but I didn't have much time to get as much participants as I did want, and again I didn't have the funding as well to do a bigger research plan, which is what I had originally planned, but that was all we got.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. It's really informative. I was wondering, Kaitlin, if you think that having some sort of support or training for student vet nurses would be really beneficial to them, specifically about how to look after their own well-being, because obviously they have that in practice, aren't they?
Yep.
So it's slightly different than vets and student vets. So they kind of got a taste of that, but would it benefit them to have additional support from the colleges to say, on your own time, here is specific well-being training for you?
Yeah, so the integrated learning support that I mentioned, that included sort of having these conversations within academic content as well, but stuff that they can then take home and also do at home so that it continues throughout their careers as well.
Great, thank you.